Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Medium by Design. Today's messages, 3 messages, are from the Galactic Federation Council, and they are slightly different themes. And the first one I got because I was asking for personal help and guidance. Now, a lot of the work that you see in my videos here, a lot of it is personal, because I'm not just doing this to receive messages for humanity. I'm doing it for my own personal evolution. And I feel that that's very important. Any work that we put time into, we should benefit from the work. The old energy, as Jesus has said, the old energy of sacrifice, suffering, and survival is old, outmoded, outdated, and it's holding humanity back. So I'm consciously choosing not to be in sacrifice or just service-oriented and not receive for myself in what I'm doing. Now, a lot of people that'll push buttons, that'll trigger people because they think you should be selfless and do everything for free, and which I do. This is all free, but people will still criticize. So there's no time for that anymore either. We just have to keep plowing ahead on our individual paths, letting our light shine, and doing the best we can in every moment, in every experience and situation we are in. That's the only way I can see us getting through what we're going through. So with that, the first message, as I said, was very personal, and I think this is going to help some people to just be more conscious of how you're clearing things on your own, in your own life, and things that are coming up for you. So this is what they had to say about what I was going through and giving me some advice. We have been watching and assisting whenever possible to help keep you out of harm's way and from being bombarded by the many lower energetic frequencies that cause negative reactions with all body systems. So already they're reading the energy that's around us in the world. Whether we are actively involved in it or not does not matter. The energy is still around, right? This has become a full-time job, as so many are releasing, reacting, emoting out of their raw emotions without realizing the immense possible outcomes that would quite literally bounce right back into their life experience and keep the snowball effect going far longer than necessary. So they're talking a little bit about that cause and effect. What people are giving out is only going to come right back to them. This is why you have stopped so often when one of these difficult waves occurs. You know all too well that in order to alleviate these energies, you must not feed them in any way. By sitting and waiting for a wave to pass and doing whatever slight adjustments you can, you get to experience the easiest way through these waves. We know how lofty this sounds and know that you wonder, why me? You see so many having no effects at all of any kind with these many energy waves. We would say that this is simply part of your own wake-up call and practice that prepares you for what you will be sharing and doing this next phase of your life. So let's take a second there. What they're referring to in my personal life is there are waves in the ethers every day, and it changes every day. It's up, down, positive, negative. It's always changing some of it is what humanity is emoting, but the triggers of that could be these energies that are coming from the great galactic central sun and these far off places that these high frequency energies are coming from and bombarding us, which they said earlier in this. So when I'm personally feeling bombarded, and that could be triggering lower emotions in me that have to be cleared, I try not to play those out in public or with other people. I really do feel the wave, and I'm in the emotion. I can be home, and I heard someone else say this in their video this week, that they had this negative anger reaction, and it's not their normal personality. And then they had to laugh. Like, what am I doing, right? But if you do that alone, there are no repercussions because you're not projecting it out at anybody, any group, any energy out. You're just emoting it and letting it come out of you naturally in the privacy of your own space. So this is what they know that I do if I'm not right. I spoke about this on a walking video. If I don't feel right or ready to drive my car, I don't leave. I leave and get in that car when I feel in the right frame. I try never to drive with any kind of emotion, negative emotion, pushing me or literally driving my actions. And if more of us did that, you'd see how driving would become so much more of a pleasure. I was out the other day and all I saw was one after another people driving intensely, aggressively, too quick, cutting people off. And I'm thinking, oh, do you own the road? I'm sorry, sire, that I'm on your road and you're impatient and I'm in your way. I didn't know that you own the road. I mean, that's literally how I see people's actions sometimes. They're not thinking we're all here sharing the road. They're thinking, I have places to go. You're in my way. I'm going to go around you and I'll cut you off. I'll run you off the road if I have to. Well, those energies are not going to help us. That is not, and I used to be like this, so don't think I'm speaking from a higher, from my own little throne. I was a very aggressive driver, and I'm an Aries, and I, who knows, maybe I was a race car driver at some point, but I do like, I used to like driving fast and pushing the limits to the car, to a point. So it's just, be aware of these waves and these energies that have to come out, and do your best not to be projecting them on another person. That's just taking responsibility for the wave, for the energy, for the emotion. That's all. You don't have to do anything with it. There's not always action needed. This is the problem, especially with men, but humanity in general. We have a trigger and we think we have to act and react to that energy right now. No, we don't. We can have a horrible moment going on right now and just sit in the moment and do nothing about it. Just let it pass. And eventually it will pass. The best example I can give you is grief. When somebody dies, as my friend John just recently died, there are waves of grief. You can be laughing. I have found you could be crying and then laughing within the same 60 seconds, right? And you think, this seems crazy. No, these are waves of energy and emotional energy that are trying to come out. So the grief is the loss, the feeling of loss, the pain of the loss, right? It's just some kind of level of pain and the perception of loss, actually, because John talked to me wonderfully from the other side, right? So then you can have joy right after that. It can happen within the same 60 seconds, which is really quite remarkable when you think about it. So if you know that these waves only are short-lived, you can just sit and wait till they pass and then get back on your feet and go do your thing. And the last bit that they had to say is, we know how challenging these odd periods of reactions can be, but we continue to remind many, quote, this too shall pass. Very old saying. My mother says that all the time. Patience is the key, main key, to get through each one. Detachment also can help, as you can separate your true self from the experience your body may be having. We know this brings little comfort, but realize none of this can last forever. This truly is just a phase that must be gone through. So you see how they're reshaping our perception and how to deal with this, especially now. I don't know, I don't see a lot of comments. I'm hoping people would share more about what they might be going through and how they have these out of the blue emotional reactions and they have to figure out what to do with them. So, feel free to say things in the comment and connect to other people and have a conversation that may help you feel better about these short-lived, intense emotional moments. Okay, the second one, now we get it goes a little bit to the bigger picture, not so personal. So this one started off with a dream that I had, and it was a very odd dream. I was at a women's conference, and my mother was there, and there were FBI agents there. It was really quite intricate and interesting, and the agents, it was really, some of these dreams seem really bizarre, but there's a lot of facts in my dreams, right? So the FBI agents brought news that one of them was exposed to COVID and at someone's residence. So this is a dream. I'll keep saying this was a dream. This is not true, but it was a very interesting, intricate dream. So he was telling the ladies that he would have to be quarantined. So I tried to share this story with the rest of the women at the conference about dealing with COVID, and I was asking them their experience and if they were still distancing, and I was just curious what was going on, and then the women started to share their individual experience, and that was the dream. It was that simple. So I woke up and I thought, I think I need some more Galactic Council connection to see, does that mean anything? Well, of course, they didn't refer to the dream because the dream was not really important. But the dream is what triggered me to ask for another message. So here's what they said when I wrote from them on this morning. We are watching, standing by, even alerting some if they need to make quick and significant changes. This is not you at this time. You remain in this nebulous, disconnected state, as you would call it, to keep your mind unfocused on the many layers of reality, detrimental reality, being shared, manipulated, and attempting to wreak havoc on the human organism. And that was a very important statement. We know that when we share this way, it remains so unreal or surreal to you and many others. We know that there will be denial and cognitive dissonance, even when those that thought they knew much of what is going on. We do not believe that all of the shit has hit the fan yet. There is more to come in the world arena that definitely will have people in an uproar, as well as they should. Just observe Australia. Now see how they use the current circumstances. This is what I like about these kind of messages. They are connecting to what's happening in the world. They're not, because they know I can't stand ungrounded or too nebulous wording. So now they look at Australia. Just observe Australia. Is this the way any human believes any country should be run? With the size of that country and the amount of people, you would think they would have a say in the way things are run. And now you watch and wonder, how will this turn out? We mentioned more bizarre headlines for the rest of 2021 and into 2022. Did we lie? Of course not. Even you, on the small scale with the few people you deal with in your life, were hit with a string of disappointments over seemingly simple interactions and the possibility of doing a few readings. I don't want to get into that, but it was weird. Seems so simple, and yet look at the reactions and surprises, changes in people who would swear they wanted your service. All we can say is continue to watch the show. There was a string of disappointments that came up. They were all minor, but it was like they were all, you know how things come in groups and one after the other? And it was one of those 2-week periods. And it was really strange, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And I got angry. I have this in another video. I was angry about it, but, people are going to do what they're going to do. And we just keep moving on. So the third message, that you'll notice these messages climb in expansion and taking in more of the world situation. This one goes even deeper. Now, I invited the Galactic Council again, and I always ask Jesus and whoever wants to come as a group, right? So in this one, now this is kind of funny, that I'm continue with the Dolores canon messages. So she comes in with the council. Okay, this is the fun that I have in doing this work, because I would hope there's going to be some fun in doing this as I'm learning, right? Learning and moving into deeper waters here. So I asked the team to show up, and I feel her, and she says, yes, I'm here, as well as many others that have chosen to work together on this current so-called transition. So that told me that she has moved into another role on the other side with the higher ups, you know, helping humanity. So she's still helping humanity. I know some days it just looks like there is no direction or evolution happening at all. Now you can see that before the evolution takes place, sometimes there needs to be a revolution. That is what you were observing in the video with all of the countries, all of different countries' peoples taking to the streets. That is a sight to see. Those numbers standing together for one very clear cause. We did not know what would be the last straw to assist humanity to wake up to the immense control that so few have over so many. We could only wait, inspire, and hope that this current wave would take place. You woke up thinking of your Thomas Jefferson message and wondered how accurate he was when he shared about an uprising. He was right on. And you can look up Thomas Jefferson in my playlists. It's an interesting message that he had about uprisings. This is almost overdue, as there have been so many laws put into place already that took the power away from the people. But with any luck and the commitment of masses of people, you may see many laws overturned in the near future. Clear, conscious decisions must be made by those in all governments. If not by those, then by those that take over those governments. Remember, this is all a necessary change wave movement to bring the people back to having a say in the direction of their country. You will also see that the majority of people actually will let go of any desire to fight. They will realize that even that was placed on them through the propaganda of their own country's government or a collaboration of multiple countries. More information will continue to be shared from the highest sources so the people can make clearer and clearer decisions. The other part that has been trickling out to the public is the many incarcerations and retaliations to be taken against those who were literally leading the charge over these crimes against humanity. This will be part and written into new legislation. This will be a part and written into new legislation to which the consequences will be dire. This might be the one topic that all nations will agree on. History will be used to prove that this cannot and will not be tolerated ever. That paragraph is really, really true about this huge changes from the ground up and moving people out and new people in. Really, really powerful message here. Can you see how docile people have become? This is why the, quote, awakening is so important and at times has to be so intense. The intensity is what jolts the person to see clearly in an instant. So many who have risen up the ranks have taken their position seriously to, quote, rule the world, and anyone who might be seen as, quote, under them. To say power has gone to some people's head is an understatement. This is why this current wave must continue. All those that have been part of this malicious plan have been harming people and the world at large must and will be brought to justice. Yes, this is part of the plan, and those who have been called are finally feeling, knowing, and acting on what has needed to happen for the last few decades. So as you see, these messages went from the mundane and personal, and they expanded up to what's happening worldwide. So I have yet to see this, and you too have yet to see a lot of this in public. We've seen some people get incarcerated and things happening, but not at the scale to make the changes that they are talking about. So there must be more to come here. So I hope this touched you deeply, and if you feel like being supportive, I would appreciate any help you can pass on to me, and that simply means liking the video, subscribing to the channel, adding to the comments, and of course there's a PayPal button if you want to help out. That helps too. And thanks for those that have done that and followed through. I appreciate it. Every bit counts. Every little bit counts. So I'm very grateful. This is the time to be grateful. It's the holiday season. I'm wishing you and your family a wonderful holiday season in whatever celebration you have, and remain in good health and high spirits and feeling the love that is all around you. Because the truth is, and I know this firsthand, the love is always around us. Just keep tapping in, calling it in, and opening the heart to feel it. So thanks again for watching, and remember, there's more to come on The Medium by Design.